Of which that's 6 off Cummins. Can you just have a word about that?
Yeah, I told Shukri not to write me off in the white ball stuff. I can still hit 6. Kidding.
Yeah, that was cool. That was one of my mates from school. He wanted me to come over, and I was like, "Flip, man, I can't. It's too busy. It's chaos." And then he was like, "Well, here's a beer." And I was like, "Okay, I'm in."
Afternoon, everyone. We've got the ICC World Test Championship final winner, captain of South Africa, Temba Bavuma. Congratulations, Temba.
You've done it, man. Well done.
Thank you.
A bit of a soft one. What's it like having that trophy in front of you right now? What does it feel like?
Yeah, I think really in probably a couple of days it'll really settle. I liked how I was introduced there by Spogazi. That sounded quite nice. But yeah, it's the word that comes to mind is special. Special for this group. Special for myself, for the country. I'm not a big rugby fan, but I watch the rugby guys, and I think the biggest thing I admire about them is with their success, how they've kind of gone about and embraced what being South African actually means. South Africa, we're unique in a lot of ways. Our present and future is shaped by our past. And I think the way that they've gone about it to capture the hearts of everyone, has really made us love them. And I think us within the cricket, that's something that we've spoken about, to really do something special. So, that word special, I keep using it. I think for the country as a chance for us to rejoice in something, for us to kind of forget about our issues, and really come together. And I think for the group of players, there were a lot of doubters as to the route that we took to get to this point. I do think the way that we've played would have wiped all of that out. But yeah, special at the moment seems to be the word.
Temba, we've all been, I think, well, most of us here have been in situations with you like this where the theme is hope or belief, or we can do it, and all of these things. But we're here today to talk about an achievement. How does that change things?
Yeah, as players, I think of the senior players, myself, Aiden, who was just here, KG, Kesh. This is what connects us. This is what we've always wanted to do. We recognize that the sun shines on us, and we have the responsibility of doing something that has never been done before. So I heard it's 26 or 27 years, something like that. So to be a part of that history is massive in a lot of ways, and we hope that this is the start of something. There could be more. There could be more trophies. So yeah, I think it's massive. It's massive trophy. Yeah.
Temba, just the last few moments of that game, as you guys got closer, the camera kept panning into the dressing room. You just sat with your hand over your face, especially after Kyle Verena attempted the ram. Can you just take us through those moments? It didn't look like you smiled till the winning run was scored.
Yeah, it was emotional. I think this time at least I managed to watch the runs. Unlike the last time, quite tense as well. I think as much as, even when we got it to 10 runs, you almost wanted to still keep it on that edge that anything can happen. The belief was obviously there, but it was hard to kind of accept the fact that we close to doing something that's never been done before. And Kyle Verena made it quite dramatic there at the end. Betting him showed a bit more calmness. And yeah, I think when he scored the runs, I kind of had my head in my hands. I guess just trying to embrace and acknowledge what we've just done. I think in that moment, kind of thought of, the experiences that I've had in the last couple of years. It hasn't been easy. It's not easy being captain of South Africa, and all the sacrifices, all the disappointment at that moment really feels worth it. When you're going through it all, giving up is always an option. It's always there. It's always there at the back of your mind, but something kind of wills you on. And I think for me it was that moment there. to be recognized more than just a black African cricketer, but to be seen as someone who's done something that the country has wanted. So I think that's something that I'll definitely walk around with my chest out. And again, I can hope that it continues to inspire our country.
Temba, last night Ashwell was telling us about, the decision you made to continue batting and Aiden, insisting basically that you were there with him. Can you tell us about the hamstring? What was the experience of batting with that like? How did it feel? And what made you want to go out there and just, want to get the job done?
I didn't want to think of another option, to be honest. I didn't want to consider myself not being there with Aiden during that moment. It was a key moment within the game. Yes, I wasn't at 100% fitness, but I felt that I was good enough to still do the job, at least to support Aiden. It was a tough decision. I mean, I can't not think of the 2023 World Cup, where it was a similar type of incident. But I think, again, it was me just backing my gut. That's what I felt at that point in time. Went against advice from management, but I guess at the end of the day, I was willing to take whatever comes with it. And I think also getting the confidence in a guy like Aiden, who kind of said, look, we need to be there at that point in time. If we can be there till the end of the day, the game is strongly in our favor. So, yeah, it was very much an instinctive call, very much an egotistical call, but I was happy to deal with whatever consequence that came with it.
Temba, when you were a little kid in London, did you ever believe that you would be sitting with the ICC World Test Mace as a world champion at Lords? And to double up on that, kids in South Africa now, all over, do they, not just in Langa, but everywhere, do they now look up at Temba and say, this is what we can achieve?
I mean, think about those days. I mean, I never pictured myself playing here at Lords. I could only fantasize about it. That's what really was reachable for us. Being captain, that was never a dream of mine. And now to have this opportunity now to be in this position where, you've won the Mace for the country. I don't think you can really write those type of stories. That's for the man above. I think for me, it was always about just the passion of the game. That's been my biggest thing. That's been my biggest driver. And I hope I can inspire a lot of people, not just in our country, but all the other nations as well. I know that a lot of the other nations, the so-called smaller nations, would have been supporting us in our quest. And as a team, our responsibility is always to be as competitive as possible. We want to play more. We want to play more Test cricket. We want to play against the bigger nations. So I think this will go a long way in I guess making us a lot more attractive, and also the so-called smaller nations. So, yeah, inspiring. I think inspiring from a lot of angles.
Temba, just to follow up on that, I mean, don't think as it stands, you've got a Test match at home immediately following, or the home season after this one. Would you like there to be found a way for you to be able to as world champions, and also about, I suppose, wanting to play more Test series that are more than 2 matches?
Yeah, we'd love to play as much cricket as we can, especially the red ball. I think the schedule, unfortunately, is what it is this year, and we just have to deal with that. Yeah, we'd love to play a lot more cricket.
Temba, was there, when you were out in the middle, was there a lot of chat from the Australian players sort of trying to get into your heads about South Africa's history and World Cups, and how did you and Aiden respond to that?
Playing against Australia is a bit different. In the last couple of years, they're not as vocal out on the field. They're still aggressive through their body language, through obviously their skill, but there's not a lot of chatter. Of course, the tag of us being chokers, that came about this morning. one of their players threw out the fact that we could get bowled out we could lose our 8 wickets in less than 60 runs. I definitely heard that. But I think the chatter from Aiden and I, Aiden kept using the word lock in after every over. Let's keep locking in. Let's give them nothing. After the first innings from our batting and bowling, all we said as a team is that all we need is a sniff. And once we got the sniff and we were done with our bowling innings, we were hell bent on not giving away that advantage or that opportunity. So, yeah, not a lot of chatter. Just 1 or 2 things that were said.
Temba, so much has been said about you in the past, and just now, how much lighter do your shoulders feel, knowing that now, no matter what is said, you've done this, you've achieved this, you've got the mace in front of you?
Yeah, I don't think that can be taken away, right? I think I would have won a couple of doubters, if I could say. And like I said, it's not an easy job. Being captain of South Africa, it's not all smooth. Being in my shoes, if I could say. Yeah, it takes a little bit of crazy at times to kind of deal with everything that it comes. But I think it's also a matter of just taking it within your stride. It's not. Yes, it can be burdensome, but it's still somewhat of a privilege to kind of carry those type of expectations as well as pressure. But yeah, I think what you said there at the beginning, I don't think they can take it away, having someone who has finally gotten over the team in a final.
Temba, Aiden was just telling us about how he just popped over to the stand, had a beer with one of his school friends. I mean, judging by the number of South Africans here, I imagine a lot of you guys will know a lot of guys out in the stands. I mean, is that the case, and what does that say about having the final in a country where so many fans can attend, even in a neutral venue?
Yeah, it was massive. I mean, we could feel the energy coming from the fans. There were a lot of South Africans out there in the fans, people who've flown over from South Africa, people obviously who were also based here in London. I think I was giving about 10, 15 tickets a day to people, so we all kind of have either relatives or friends who are within the stands. I'm sure later on, depending on what state we are, we'll catch a beer with them. But it's been phenomenal. Playing a final here at Lord's, hearing songs that you're accustomed to back home in South Africa, and then for us to perform the way that we did. I also think if you're a sporting fan, if you're a cricketing fan, you've really gotten your money's worth with the type of cricket that was on show. Both teams it was kind of in favor of the one, then it went to the other. It was a proper entertainment, you know what I mean? The English, Ben Stokes, and the way they talk about entertainment, I don't think that was anything short of that.
Temba, Shukri said an interesting thing half an hour ago about your leadership. He said you're a very strong captain, but you lead from behind off the field and from in front on the field. Does that describe your leadership style to you?
I'm not a person that speaks a lot. I'm not a person that speaks a lot. I try to lead on what I do on the field. So I think our biggest chat coming up against Australia in this game was conviction. Whatever we do, let's just do it with conviction. And at times I played maybe some indifferent shots, but that was me just trying to show conviction in whatever I did. And I'd like to think that rubbed off on certain guys within the team. But yeah, I think leading through a collective, identifying guys within the team, and allowing them to lead within the space, that's something I think that has allowed me to be a lot more successful as a batter. But yeah, not a big talker. More about action.
Talking of which, that's 6 off Cummins. Can you just have a word about that?
Yeah, I told Shukri not to write me off in the white ball stuff. I can still hit 6. Kidding.
Temba, can you just take us inside your thinking during Australia's 10th wicket partnership yesterday. Was there a bit of frustration that you couldn't get them out, or could you see that hang on, it's getting a bit easier to bat out here?
A bit of both. Firstly, it was frustration. The bowlers were trying. Bowlers were also tired at that time. The wicket wasn't reacting as much, and I think, we were almost running out of ideas as to what we can do. Fortunately, we were able to get the wicket. But I think chatting to Ashwell, we kind of said, the wicket looks good to bat on. We kind of just need to knuckle down the end. And that's exactly how it played. Quite surprising that it changed so quickly like that. First 2 days were tough for batting. But I think, when we saw that partnership, I think the guys who are experienced, you kind of take confidence in the fact that, if, no disrespect, if Mitchell Starc can hang in for so long, then you kind of back yourself to do the same thing as well.
Temba, obviously this is all really fresh at the moment in experiencing this, but I mean, this has been such a focus for you, for the team, for South African cricket. And you look at the history and the heartbreak and everything that's built to this moment, and you've done it. So what happens now? Like, where do you want to see the story of this Test team go after so long just getting to this moment right now?
We've kind of said as a team that, and it was our chat in our camp that we had in Arundel, that we'd like to judge ourselves after 3-4 years as a group, really take stock there and see where we're at. It's a lovely thing that we have the Mace as part of that journey. But in terms of us leaving a legacy, we understand that we're not going to leave a legacy behind in 2 years. Yes, we've created history, but as a group, we'd like to emulate, if not do better than what Graham and his team did. So, I mean, they've set the standard. I don't think anyone has reached that standard as of yet. So in 3-4 years' time, as a group, 2027, I'd like us to be in a position where we've been able to go to Pakistan, we've been able to go to India, have victories there, and do a lot more. We've only had 2 years. We've generated a lot of success in that 2 years that we don't look past. But I think from a longevity point of view, to really get the respect out there as a Test team, we'd like to see where we are within another 2 years.
Temba, from what you were saying just now, I think we can summarize it as you prefer for your bat to do the talking rather than you. But that kind of innings you played in, particularly in the second innings with the injury, in the match-winning partnership, supporting the guy who scored a lot of the runs. What do you think that kind of performance says about you as a person?
I'd like to think it gives a glimpse into I guess Temba the person, the character. For me, it's always about the team, doing what I think is best for the team, and also wanting to be the guy for the team. I think in times where there's pressure, where you can make a decision, where you're kind of giving another one the opportunity, it's easy to do that in pressure moments, but it takes a certain level of courage to be able to, look past what you are feeling physically, and still try find a way to get the job done. I think that's been the theme of us as a Test team in our campaign, is that we found ways to get the result in our favour. We haven't exactly played perfect cricket, and I think even today, or even over the course of the last 3.5 days, we haven't exactly played perfect cricket, but we keep finding a way. That's something that I keep asking the guys, and that's something that I demand of myself as well. So if anything, it speaks to, I'd like it to speak to my character. I think resilience is obviously a big theme in my career. That little bit of grit and determination, but just finding a way, irrespective of what's happening around you.
Last two questions. One at the back. Temba, you touched on wanting to play a bit more white ball cricket, and also about winning more ICC trophies. You got the 50-over World Cup that you're co-hosting with Zimbabwe and Namibia in 2027. how big is that going to be for South Africa as a country to co-host that tournament in a couple of years' time and maybe build off the momentum of this win?
Yeah, I think it will be massive. I mean, that tournament, we're definitely setting our sights on doing special things in that tournament. Still a way to go till then. Shukri obviously comes in now as the white ball coach, so we'll see what plans that he has, who his personnel will be. But yeah, hopefully this is the start of those trophies for the team. Before then, the guys go to the T20 stuff. So Aiden and his boys, we will be supporting them to follow suit. But that 2027, a lot of us, we wanna be there. We need to be fit to be there first. But I mean, I'll definitely be putting up my hand to be a part of that group.
Temba, you said you're not a man of many words, but your coach certainly is. It's a bit of a yin-yang relationship. He makes these left field decisions when he picks players. Do you ever differ with him, and how much trust must you have to actually say you're on the right path here, and we're gonna go with this?
Yeah, I think we differ all the time, and I think that's the beauty of the relationship, that we can put our thoughts. It's not a yes boss type of thing. I think what I appreciate about him is his conviction behind the decisions that he makes. There's always method to his madness, and credit to him. His decisions have come off. I mean, think of a guy like Vian Mulder to be sent in at 3. Second innings, Vian played an important innings there. And I mean, there's many decisions. Corbin Bosch coming into the game when we played against Pakistan in Supersport, and he played the way that he played. Sen Mutasami, who came in as well, Bangladesh forfeit and 80 there. So, he's making the right calls at the moment. But it's the conviction. It's the conviction